Hello, welcome to Krafting Kitty. My name is Erin and it's Saturday, which means it is time for another weekly round. That came out really bad. So it's Saturday, it means it's time for weekly roundup, and it is again kind of an abbreviated one. I didn't grab absolutely every one of my projects. The things we're making Thursday shawl. Keep kicking things. It's chaos in this room, guys. So the things we're making Thursday shawl, Fridays with Pred projects. There's a project in the basement that I didn't grab. My car projects. The Sweet Illusions blanket in the living room is actually on its last section. I had really hoped to finish it this week, but I didn't. But yeah, so those are a couple of things I am not showing. I just blazed past. What is my weekly roundup? Well, it is the time of the week where I try to share my WIPs, works in progress, and any FOs I have finished. I finished a couple FOs. I think maybe I only have one of them with me, though. Oh well. I'll share the others as they come up. So one thing I want to share first is the baby blanket from my sister's baby blanket saga. She still has not told me what the colors are, but I am going forth and creating. And we decided the first one I was going to do was a blanket out of this baseball yarn. It's Red Heart Baby TLC. I believe it's been long discontinued. This was in my stash and I bought it to make baby blankets, but I never did. So I had 5 of these. This is the 4th one. I went through a lot of attempts as to what I should do with this blanket. This is actually the 3rd design, and I like it. I think it's going to get mixed reviews from you guys. Brian really dislikes it. He thinks it's too busy, and I get that. But to me, it really reminds me of a blanket I had that either my grandmother or my great-grandmother made. So it has a very vintage feel to me, and I like it. So what it is I am making a Bavarian stitch blanket out of it. And yes, it is a chaotic mess. I think on the camera, the stitch is definitely disguised. It's kind of disguised in person, but I think it looks cool. And here you go. So, like I said, I've just tied on the 4th of 5 skeins. I measured it after I finished the 3rd skein, and it's 27 inches. So we'll see what it ends up. I do plan on kind of just going until I run out of yarn. So I am using a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook, and the pattern I'm following for this is from Hooked by Robin. And the yarn is actually a 3-weight, and it does recommend a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. So that was kind of cool to me. But yep, there we go. I've made good progress, and I'm hoping it'll be done kind of soon. We'll see. What else? Yeah, that colorway I think I said is baseball. What else do I have here? Okay, so one of my finished objects. I am still working through my first collection of the Rave yarn, and I made, now I'm not sure if Chomps is actually going to want this or not, but I made a hat out of the colorway Lava Lamp, and this is a combination of double crochets and half double crochets to kind of, I don't even know if it looks that different. I was like, it's going to give it different texture. I don't know if it does. The bottom, those look like single crochets to me. I can't remember what I did. I think it's 3 rows of single for the brim. The body of the hat is 3 rows of half doubles separated by a row of double crochets. And there you go. So this hat is done. The extras from that cake are in a bag for another project. And so I'm going to try to do 1 Rave project a week, and when I finish it I just stop. But the last cake I have from that original order is the green and black, which is called Electric Slime. This is the one Chomps really wanted initially. There was 2 he wanted initially, so I am working up a knit hat. And so far I've got the brim and some of the body done, not much. I'm going to knit the hat, and then I'll knit him a little cowl. And then, and like I said, that's the last of my rave from my initial order. I did have one more ball of the prism that I threw in this bag to do after I finish that rave. We'll see. So there you go. There's that hat. And then the other hat I'm making. Okay, I should not put that there because I'm going to grab that to put that back in my project area. What else do I have? Okay, let's talk about the neon lights. So I've been working on blankets for the kiddos with the Hirschner's Neon Lights yarn. I showed last week that I finished, I think it was last week. Anyway, I finished Bingo's granny square blanket she wanted. I kind of did that because I had run out of yarn for Chomps' blanket. And I'm actually nearly done with Chomps'. I have one more row of the red to do. Then I have to do a row of black, and then I have to do a blue section, a row of black, or it's 2 rows of black, so black section, and then I have to finish with the last variegated. So he wants it to be vertical stripes. When it was in my head, I thought it was going to be horizontal stripes, but that's okay. He can orient the blanket however he wants. So what I did was I did the striping, and then I got to the middle, and I'm mirroring it back out. There you go. I figure that will give a focus on his favorite colors, which are the orange and red. And there you go. So I've just tied on my second ball of this for just like a row and a half. But that was my own miscalculation, and it happens. I really thought 6 balls of that would be enough. And then what else do I have? I have my socks that I've been working on. Can I reach them? I did. The picnic basket socks. Where's this? Okay, this is a pattern I got in a P4A digital download bundle from Woolly_Waves, Darcy Anderson. And I finished the first sock, and I've been plugging away on the second sock. I have finished the cuff, leg, heel flap, turn, and gusset, and I am well on the way to the foot of the sock. So there we go. It's got a fun basket weave pattern. The base of the sock is just stockinette, so it's not textured. It's not going to make the sole of your foot feel funky. I am using Razzle Dazzle sock base yarn from Trilogy Yarns. This was from one of the sock subscription sets I got, the Golden Girls set. This colorway was called something like, How Can We Feel So Good But Look So... Isn't it amazing how I can feel so bad but still look so good? Which is, of course, a quote from Blanche. Here is a picture of the sock. So you can bear it. So it is designed to be a shorty sock. It wasn't just me, like, playing fast and loose with the pattern. But, I mean, a pattern is just a suggestion, and if you prefer shorty socks, make those socks short. Who cares? You're wearing them. So there we go. I hope to finish that one pretty soon. I would love, after I finish that, to cast on one of the new K&C yarns, but Bingo really loves the sparkle yarn, and she wants me to use the leftovers to make her a pair of socks. But Bingo socks, I mean, her feet are so tiny, they don't take long. But these socks, this is the project, the sock project in this bag, is what I do when I put the kids to sleep. So it gets worked on 15-20 minutes a day while I sit in the chair and they fall asleep. We listen to podcasts. Bingo likes to listen to storybooks, so like Frozen off of Audible. But Chomps has found a podcast called Relax with Animal Facts. It's really interesting, and so he likes to listen to that before going to bed. But we've listened to all of the published episodes, so I have now decided, hey, we seem to enjoy this a whole heck of a lot. Let's go ahead and join his Patreon, and there are some bonus episodes Chomps can listen to on the Patreon, and then we can, you know, when a new episode comes out, listen to that. He posts roughly weekly, and yeah, so it's fun. if you wanted to know what our bedtime routine is, we get our drinks, we cuddle in, we listen to either audible storybooks for Bingo or a podcast with Chomps. Although Brian and Chomps don't always listen to the animal podcast. Sometimes they listen to other stories. But yeah, I think it's fun. What else am I talking about? I feel like I have... Oh, the pickle jar. Okay, so the pickle jar now lives down here because Chomps gave me a Lego collection to try to protect. So that's right there. So this is the Aberdeen Wools pickle jar kit. It's the original pickle jar. This came with knitting needles and 2 patterns. I'm going to make first the classic pickle jar cowl, and you can see I'm almost done. I'm close. It comes with 40 minis, which are roughly 23 yards per skein, and then you just knit them up. The pattern's all there. It's a pretty basic stockinette thing. And then I did go ahead and order a refill so I can make the other one, which is a bias kind of shawl scarf. The kids have been sick all week. Actually, on Monday, Bingo skipped dance class because she was looking so tired and rough. I think I maybe need to admit I might have picked up the bug. It looks like it's just a cold, though. They have an occasional cough, kind of some head stuffiness, but it's not like draining or... Yeah, I mean, for one day, poor Miss Bingo sounded like, a 25-year chain smoker, but then that went away. That was on Monday when I was like, oh no. So I am gonna cut, I've cut a bunch of stuff. I went on a little rant about some new school board policies and political decisions in my state, and I got really upset about it, and I've kind of gotten teary-eyed. So if I look a little upset, that's why I've cut it, because it was a ridiculous rant that doesn't really belong on a crafting channel. But anyway, here is the cowl that I've been working on. I have not yet finished this week's mini. So here's the little mini that Bingo picked out last week. I actually love how it pairs against that orange, the kind of lava orange from Chomps. And there we go. So I'm probably about half done with that mini. I'll get to it when I get to it, and it should be finished this week. But like I said, I am so close to finishing this. It looks like I have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I might have 5, maybe 6 minis left in here. So that's pretty cool. That is pretty darn cool. Like I said, 40 minis come in that I actually have filmed an opening that I haven't published for my refill pack. But if you want a sneak peek, here it is. So yeah, I'll do the bias scarf next. And there we go. That is the last of the projects I'm going to share. I did get a question as to whether or not I was going to do the Stephen West MKAL this year. I am not going to participate. If you recall, I tried to do the prior two and never finished them. So they're sitting there in my whip bin and mocking me because I really want to finish them. There's no reason they shouldn't be finished other than my own squirreliness. But I did say last year, after the whole controversy over the pattern, that regardless of whether or not I'm going to make it, I will purchase it. So at launch, I did purchase the pattern. So here's just the intro. The actual sections don't get released until October. Schedule is Clue 1 comes out October 3rd. So I'll print those up so I have them. But I'm not buying the yarn. I'm not making it along with the MKAL. If I am able to, I might pull out one of my old ones and try to work on that. You know, they do. He does tell you to knit at your own pace, and yep, I certainly am. I forget the actual phrase he uses, but it's absolutely adorable. He ends all of his stuff with keep on knitting kitten, which I just think is adorable. So there is a mohair there. Now, what I do love is that he sells kits for it, but he doesn't say you have to use his kits. There's actually a paragraph at the end of the intro saying, please go support your local LYS. Please use your stash yarn to make this. It's all yours. You do you. And so I love that. I think he is a very talented designer, and I would like to do it, but like I said, my track record is not that great, so I will hold off this time. But what else? Okay, so that is the end of the crafty goodness. I did remember to grab my book, so let's quick talk book. If you were just here for the craft talk, thank you so much for stopping by, and let me know what you're working on. Let me know what's motivating you or inspiring you these days, because I want to know. Reminder, we do have a little bit more time in the Bee Hooked Crochet Krafting Kitty Creator Spotlight. This is the shawl scarf I made to give away. I finished it. I shared it on Thursday with Things We're Making Thursday. Okay, so book. I am on to Mark Lawrence's The Book That Broke the World. I don't know if that's going to show up. This is the second book in the library trilogy. There are a couple novellas out. I don't know if that's even going to focus. But yeah, library trilogy, book 2. Book 3 is available for pre-order. It's called The Book That Broke Her Heart. I read last time, or I read a while back, the blurb, and it's like, this book will crush you. Hello! Thanks, Mark. Thanks. But that's for the third book. This book, I am on chapter 11, page 78. And there are 364 pages. So what? Probably slightly less than a quarter in. You can see that. I am enjoying it. It has a very similar feel to the first book, but it's not quite as what the heck mysterious, because a number of questions were answered, especially the messed up timelines. So now we know what's going on. There are 2 new characters that are introduced at the beginning of this book, which is a fun thing. I guess I will kind of spoiler alert that it seems to me that these 2 new characters are a third race, which is interesting, and it also kind of explains, in the first book, I don't think this is giving too much away, Lavira and Evar visit a poison, they go through a door and they are at a poison realm where Lavira has to leave immediately. Evar can stay a little bit longer, but they kind of talk about who might live on that poison world and explain a little bit. So that's interesting. I thought it's a little bit of a curveball to have another race, because you thought it was just 2 races fighting for superiority. But yeah. I think it's a good book. If you enjoyed the first one, I think you'd probably enjoy this one too. But like I said, I'm not too far in. I have pre-ordered the third, so I will read this. I see no reason why I shouldn't. I can't give much of a review yet on it. And I don't want to give away plot. So I don't know, like I said, I think if you had read the first one and enjoyed it, this might be something that is up your alley. If you read the first one and are like, whoa, that's too weird for me, I think you would be right in probably walking away from continuing the series, because you have to read what you enjoy, and if you're not enjoying it, DNF it, walk away, find something you enjoy. This is kind of in a science fiction-y fantasy type realm. There isn't like dragons or like magic or anything like that, like casting spells, anything like that. So it's not like my witchy books or anything. but, or my dragon books. There is a bit of a love story, but it is by no means explicit. It is not a spicy book by any stretch of the imagination. So if you're a no spice reader, plus if you're a spice reader, that might turn you away. That's totally cool. I am a take it or leave it spice reader, but I will be honest, explicitly graphic kind of embarrasses me. It makes me feel funny and uncomfortable, I guess I'll say. So there we go. Yeah, I will continue reading it and I will give you reports. This is a little bit slower going than my past books. I'm not quite flying through it as quickly, and I think it's a bit because I am trying to reorder my days like I talked in a previous video. So I had been reading during the days, and I'm not reading quite as much during the day. A couple of people ask how I find time to read. I always try to read at least one chapter before I go to bed. So that is that. And these chapters are quite short, around 10 pages or so. So it's a pretty easy ask, but it means I'm not like flying through the book. So there you go. Okay, I will talk to you guys later. If you have book suggestions, I love it. I always love adding to my TBR to be read list. Okay, talk to you later. Bye-bye.